I remember one time in particular where he really hurt me, and he threw me in the ground and he spit in my face.
And I'm fighting back, telling him to get off of me, and he literally put his hands around my neck and choked me.
We're outside fighting. He punches me in the face.
And he said to me, if I kill you tonight, it will be days before they find the body. My name is Amelia Boyd.
My name is Nicole Thomas.
My name is Kenya Alford.
My name is Nicole Sims.
This is Surviving Him. I met him in a bar when I was 22 years old.
I met him at my son's high school.
I met my abuser / baby dad when I was about 15 years old.
Well, I met him online, and after meeting him online, we decided to meet in person.
The abuse started, I would say, maybe a couple months after.
The abuse started when our first date.
I believe the abuse started maybe a few months into the relationship.
The abuse started from a verbal perspective. Even though I was very much transparent and honest with my relationship in terms of telling him, you know what, I've seen my father did this. And so sharing that with him, I had an expectation that he would understand and decide, you know what, I'm going to be the right person for her.
I remember one particular time when we were married, and we were married for several years, and it was always abuse. It was always verbal abuse, physical abuse as well. I remember one time in particular where he really hurt me, and he threw me in the ground and he spit in my face. And I think my feelings were hurt more than my body, that someone would, do something like that to you.
He was at work one evening, and I decided to get dressed up and go out and have some drinks with my girlfriend. And when I returned home, he was very upset with me. I had a dress on, and he literally ripped my dress off. And he told me, oh, you think you're a hot girl because you don't wear drawers out. You're out having sex with someone because you don't have any drawers on. And I'm fighting him after he ripped my dress off. And I'm fighting back, telling him to get off of me. And he literally put his hands around my neck and choked me. And I didn't even fight back. I didn't know what to do. I was just shocked. I couldn't breathe. My throat was sore. I never in my entire life had any injury. I never broke a bone. I never had surgery. I've never been, there was nothing, I don't have stitches. It was scary. And I took pictures of it, and I could see his handprints on my neck.
I remember the most abusive moment, I believe, to be in the relationship was actually the incident that made me completely register that I needed to get out. So I was at my house. I had gotten a little house. By then, I was a student. I was going to community college, and I was trying to better myself because by then I had a daughter with him. So she was about, I believe, 2 years old. And he had been in jail. He had gotten out of jail, and I was still in this relationship with him. I had begun to see other people, but then when he got out of jail, it was like, you my girl. And I was like, oh, that's right. So I went back into the cipher. And this one particular day, I was trying to, tell him that I didn't want to be with him anymore. And he kept saying he wanted to see his daughter. So I had company at my house because I was about 20 years old, maybe 21. And my house was like, by then I had reunited with my siblings and my life was better because he was gone. And so he showed up at my house, and so he was supposed to be upstairs with his daughter, and then a fight ensued. He and I think we were fighting because I believe he was asking me for sex, and I was like, that's not happening. And so we started fighting. And so my family came upstairs and everybody's fighting. Of course, there's kids in the house, and we get him to the door. We literally drag him to the door, and he's still fighting everybody. We get to the door and he goes outside, but before he leaves out the door, he reaches back and he scratches me like this and rips off whatever necklaces I have on my neck. And we're all screaming. We get outside the house. We're outside fighting. He punches me in the face and chips my tooth. And I don't know if he actually had a gun or not, but it got to the point where we were that afraid that we finally retreated and we went back into the house. But by then, it had been this really traumatic, all-out war.
One night, I came home from school / work, and my neighbors were having Bible study, so they invited us to come over. So I said to him, you know what, come with me, let's go over there, because they're trying to create some level of interaction. He didn't want to go, but I wanted to, so I did. So when I came back home, he had wanted to have sex, and I said to him, well, if you allow me to sleep and get some rest, I'll make sure that I deal with you in full capacity. But that wasn't good enough. I was called different type of names, everything about except a child of God. And when I did not respond to him, or just continue to ignore him, he drew me off the bed, threw me in the wall, hit my head on the wall, choked me, and scratched me all over my body.
My name is Darnell Drury. I am the Community Outreach Intervention Specialist here at the Center for Victims. I've been working at the Center for Victims for now. I've been back for 3 years. I was started in 2000 and worked here for 8 years, left for 8 years and returned. So I've been back for 3 years now, and just working in the community, working as an educator and an advocate in the community specifically, and also in professional settings, schools, and other organizations to teach about our services and the work that we do here at the Center for Victims. Men have rights, men have responsibility, and there are some men too who are victims as well. So even to be able to step up and help men, advocate for men who are victims in some of these crimes and violence, to feel safe enough to know that they can speak out and know that they can be served too, that they don't have to live in that unsafe space for themselves.
I stayed because I thought maybe it would work. I had nowhere else to go. I had my kids. So I kind of try to make things work.
I believe I stayed in the relationship because I believe I was probably more sexually attracted to him than anything. I thought I wanted to change him because I thought if I showed him more love, more patience, more something, that he would stop, he would change. Everyone can change. I changed, maybe he can change too, but no, I can't. I had to let it go and let God.
I stayed in that relationship because I was afraid, for starters. One of the things that he would always say to me was that if I left, he would kill me. And he was so deranged that I really felt in my heart that was true. So that was part of the reason I stayed. But then also because he was a drug dealer and he had, all this money, I was benefiting from that, and I was able to, keep up with the trends. Like I said, my parents had divorced, and so for someone to come along, I always had what I needed, but for someone to come along and begin to just give me like everything that I wanted. I was 15, so naturally that was jewelry and the latest shoes and the latest clothes and all of that stuff. So I believe, and also, we were struggling in my household. There were 4 of us that my mom was trying to care for. And so for me to be able to take care of myself and then also to be able to, help take care of my family, like he was paying actual bills in the house, to help out because he was always around like a plague. But, so that was why I stayed. I had just become accustomed to living that way, and it seemed easier because he was so volatile that I was really scared of what he might do.
I stayed because I had nowhere else. I had nothing else. It was just me here. I'm not from here originally. I'm from Jamaica. So being here, that was my only family. And that's all I had. That's all I knew. And in the midst of everything, he even excommunicated me from his family. So the only person I had access to was him. And so I stayed because, for one, I wanted my marriage to work, and 2, it became my normality.
In general, we are the most comprehensive agency when it comes to crime services. So we cover all crimes throughout the community, and education, as well as serving in other organizations to teach them, to get them to understand, to be a service to victims of trauma. Our work is we're committed to advocating for people that are victims of crime. All crimes are getting all of the services and all of their rights met. In the court system, we have court advocacy, legal advocacy. We make sure that they have their rights met as far as and their needs met as far as PFAs, protection from abuse, and to avoid trying to miss any of the services that we provide. I have our 2-sided cards that we actually pass out while we're in the community, so people can have exactly the services that we provide. So we have emergency shelter, transitional housing, like I said, protection from abuse, legal advocacy, support, and accompaniment. We actually have our advocates, which is probably one of our largest departments. Yeah, so this is the space, our art therapy room, where our therapists work with their young clients to do art therapy, play therapy. As you can see around the room, there's a lot of different things that the young people can play with that helps through the therapy sessions, a lot of the art work, they do paintings and pictures and things, those types of things help get them, they use creative ways to offer their experience through what they've gone through as victims, or witnesses of crime. So we have many different, and some of the therapists have these same things within their own space and inside their offices as well. This is our music room. Chelsea, who is a classic vocalist, she is a vocalist, and she plays these instruments, using and working with clients to play these instruments through the music therapy working. As you can see, she has a number of instruments available for use for the clients to go through and help in therapy sessions, whether it's during their discussion. So where energy, using music and using their energy through the music, through the drums, through all of the different types of, perhaps even being able to have people express what they're going through based on the instrument itself could be very powerful for clients. So music therapy is kind of kind of this new cutting edge way of doing therapy, additional with music and art, and we have some other therapy opportunities. And it's interesting, our dog advocates, Griffin and Nellie and Julie and Cooper, they're just awesome. You know, I believe we'll probably get more, but they're just so awesome, especially for, you know, for the entire team. Our team itself, we have great, and I'm actually very scared of dogs. So this has been a shift for me. They're just so awesome, and you know, for the young, they're kind of the support for therapy for young people, especially to go into the courtrooms, go into the especially for rape crisis, and accompany young people during testimony, accompany young people during therapy, do some rape crisis kit accompaniment. So when the pets are there, when the dogs are there, they're accompanying young kids, and it just makes their experience very different and much easier. And it has been working tremendously in wonderful ways. Griffin is a really big dog. That's why I always talk about him, because he has had the greatest impact on me. But young people literally sit inside him like a beanbag. He lays down and he kind of wraps. They sit inside him like a beanbag. So the experience is so great. It is great to see, adults experience them, and our staff experience these dogs as well.
The advice I would give, especially a young woman, find someone that you can trust. Find a friend, find a family member. You're not by yourself. You know, in the day and age that we live in now with social media and things like that, there's so many resources out there. You know, I didn't have that, coming up in my marriage, but, reach out to someone, talk to someone, let someone know, don't bear this by yourself, because it's not going to turn out well.
If you're going into or already in a relationship with someone that is abusing you, I would say get some support. If you're not ready to leave, find some source of support. There's a lot of support out there. Find a reason to love on you to leave. It's not healthy. I mean, anybody that's been through it, even me. I mean, if I have a resource to help someone, I would love to. It's just, find the resources. You have to get out.
The advice that I would give my 15-year-old self would be, first of all, that you can overcome this. You can survive this. You can thrive. You can learn to not continue the cycle. You can learn to teach other young sisters or friends that they don't have to endure abuse. I would tell her that she's beautiful. I would tell her that she's worth more than sex and, material things, and that she can choose who she wants to be with and how that person treats her.
My advice is, 1, love you first. Elevate you first. Encourage you first. Build a solid relationship with God first. At the ending of the day, if you don't know who you are, your life is going to be validated by the person that you choose, or the person you are with. If you don't have a relationship with God that says this is who you are, your life is going to be validated by the person that you're with. If you don't believe in who you are, your life is going to be validated by the person that you're with. I mean, work on you first before you try to get into a relationship. You cannot be broken and then trying to then get with a broken person and then expect that relationship to work. It's not possible. Love on you as much as you can and just wait on God, because if I did that, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have been in that situation that I was in. And speak out. If you are already in the situation, don't be afraid. Seek somebody, seek solace, seek an organization that can open up some doors to you, give you the resources that you need. There's so many different organizations out there that can facilitate and help you on this journey of getting outside of domestic violence. And never believe what your abuser says about who you are, right? So just be encouraged and know that there is a way out.
Still I rise. by Maya Angelou. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness. But still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise, up from a past that's rooted in pain. I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise into a daybreak that's wondrously clear. I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise.
I'm a mother, a lover, a motivator, a lifelong learner, an empowerer, and a woman that believes in working and empowering other women in finding their best self.
Today, I can honestly say I'm free. I'm free from insecurities of myself, self-doubt. I mean, I didn't realize what self-love was. And it's so liberating just to be free, to be you, to be just what God made you to be. I never thought I would find this woman before, and I love her. It's wonderful.
I would say now that I am a more mature and most importantly spiritually mature mother and wife and community member and sister and friend and daughter.
I'm a good mother. I'm a grandmother. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a pusher. I'm an encourager. I'm a mentor. That's who I am.
It has taught me not to rely on self. It has taught me to step out of my comfort zone. It has taught me to be more vigilant. And most importantly, it has taught me how to rely and depend on God instead of relying and depending on myself.
I am not completely healed. What's really interesting is I've been working with my daughter Jamie, trying to be an example for her because she entered into sort of the same pathway. And she has an abusive baby dad, former partner. And so every day I try to instill in her that that's not for you. You know, that's not what love looks like. Thank you, Jamie. And so, you know, your family is what love looks like. Your daughter is what love looks like. Y'all got to make sure that y'all gonna be okay regardless of whatever he, you know, does or doesn't do.
I still feel some some slight unworthiness in my dating. I think that's maybe why I'm still single, still trying to figure out who I am exactly. I mean, I'm at least 90% healed, but there's still some insecurities. I think it will probably carry with me for the rest of my life.
I don't think none of us get completely healed. I think it's a day-to-day process. Life happens. You know, you can get healed from this situation and then bam, another situation happens. It doesn't have to be abuse, but life just happens. And I'm actually seeking counseling right now and talking things out, and you know, stop holding things in, quit keeping secrets. So no, I'm not completely healed, but I'm well on my way.
I'm not. And healing is a process. Because it's a spiritual, it's a physical, and it's an emotional thing. And in order to be completely healed, every 3 aspects of the human being will have to be affected. For me, it's a journey, and I think I'm glad that I'm not totally healed, because then I have something to share with another woman as it concerns where I am within that particular situation. So no, I'm not completely healed. My kids, Monet and Michael, were my support system, and Sarah Adams, and they still are.
Like, my whole family was supportive. They were disappointed, definitely, but my mother, my brothers, my cousins, yes, they were upset that I took them back, you know, more than I should have. But they never left my side. They never told me I was, you know, crazy or dumb or anything like that. We were close-knit family.
And my support system now is my probably quite opposite, loving, caring, silly, crazy husband, Chris, who is my #1 cheerleader. He's just really dope, and he reminds me every day that, you know, I'm dope and our team is dope. And he just kind of, even when he probably thinks we're crazy, he just goes along with the plan and supports me in everything that I can do. So he's #1. Then there's my awesome mom, who the entire world knows as Ball, because when Jamie couldn't say mom and I was still living at home, my mom became Ball. And now Ball is the pillar of our family. She just loves all of us to the fullest. She went from raising her 4 children to now her 11 or 12 grandchildren, and now she's helping to raise the great-grandchildren. So I got excited. Oh, my support system. So that is my support system. I have a slew of friends, really, you know, close female friends, most of whom I consider sisters, and we support each other and we pray together. I have a group of friends that I call my spiritual sisters. They go to my Kingdom Hall, and we're, you know, part of their family as well as having them be part of ours. So just, I think that about sums up my support system.
I have a team of people, and most of them aren't even my blood. A cousin, adopted children, my grandbaby, adopted aunties, and I say those because those are people that God just placed in my life to motivate me and to push me to keep going. So that's my support system.
3 words to describe me. I think one of those words would be a light, organic. One of those words would certainly be, thank you, Jamie, organic. I like that. Some of my friends tell me I'm earthy, which I think just means that I try to stay grounded and I try to stay neutral, and I try to be a light and be encouraging to everybody I come in contact with. So organic, because that comes from the heart. Secondly, I would say that I am loving, and that I often try to check my own heart and my own interactions to ensure that I don't have any type of motives other than just loving people and appreciating people for who they are, because you don't know who's in an abusive relationship. You don't know who you know, is just struggling with things that you can't see on the outside. So I try to be loving to everyone. And thirdly, I would say that I am blessed. I have my God, I have my beautiful husband, I have my beautiful daughters, all 100 of them. I have my mom and my friends that are like sisters, my spiritual family. I just have so much that I would have to say that I'm blessed.
Motivator, encourager, and pusher.
Ooh, beautiful, tenacious, and empowered.
I'm a good mother. I'm a grandmother. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a pusher. I'm an encourager. I'm a mentor. That's who I am.